Hello and welcome to session 4 overview video. And I'd just like to say congratulations to most of you for getting your inquiry blog up and your first 2 blog posts posted and live. I did a quick check of all the inquiry blogs and most of you have your inquiry blog posts in 1 and 2 up. I see that there are still some comments from peers that need to be approved to show up, but it looks like the majority of us are up and rolling with our inquiry blog. So this week we're going to take a little break from our inquiry blogs. We don't have any inquiry blog posts due this week. Our next inquiry blog post, number 3, will not be due for 4 more weeks. And so what we're going to be doing the next 4 weeks is really learning about analyzing text complexity, which is very much geared towards the text set that you will be presenting for blog post 3. So the next 4 weeks are really going to be preparing for that blog post 3. Especially this week where we are going to define and describe some of these core concepts that will help us with the analysis. So keep in mind, although no blog post due this week or next week, there is definitely our work we are doing is building upon and preparing us for blog post 3, which is due in 4 weeks. So I'll go a bit more into the agenda. Here we have our agenda for week 4. And as I said, our focus for this week is going to be analyzing for text complexity. So we are going to learn a set of tools and heuristics and approaches to come at texts and analyze them for different types of complexity or different difficulties that may hinder access. And we're going to be analyzing these texts to figure these different levels of complexity so that we can design accordingly the learning activities and the framing and positioning of the text that we bring into our classroom. We don't ever want to just present a text cold without any type of framing or purpose for our students, because it really sets them at a disadvantage for knowing how to approach the reading, at least claiming what they need to be reading it for, etc. So we're talking quite a bit about that this week. So you'll notice our Explore activities are much more heavily weighted this week. So there's no blog post due, but our Explore activities are taking us through a variety of different ways to learn about text complexity and how to analyze texts. And so you'll notice as you look through our Explore activities, our readings are all about selecting texts and then analyzing them for text complexity. We then have a voice annotated lecture which defines and describes text complexity. We also then going down have another video which is demonstrating how to analyze a text for text complexity. And then we have a new resource list that's related to blog post 3. However, it's all about text complexity and analyzing text for text complexity. And on this resource list are links to several rubrics and checklists and various resources that you can use to analyze a text and its different dimensions and its different layers and levels of complexity. So lots of resources, lots of tools for you to dig into text and analyze text in a new way, to gather data that will help you choose meaningful activities to open up texts, to support learning during reading, support learning after, but really to help students unpack and work with the content and improve their comprehension. So all of those resources will be reviewed and discussed in the Explore activities, so give yourself adequate time for those. And then our Discuss activity this week is actually taking all of that information from the Explore activities and having you actually analyze a text. You can choose any text you want from your field and analyze it. You can even choose a text that you think you might include in your text set for blog post 3 if you have thought ahead already toward enough about what text you want to include in your text set. So you're going to be analyzing a text and posting that analysis for your Discuss post this week. And then for our Reflect post, we're going to take a little break from text complexity. We're going to take a little bit of time to reflect on our first 4 weeks in the semester and in learning in this online environment. And so reflecting a little bit on your online learning. I myself took the opportunity to reflect on my own learning in this environment. So that is our Reflect activity for this week. And then if you're a graduate student, make sure you're keeping up with those additional responsibilities that you need to do. If you haven't yet reached out to me to make an appointment for us to meet individually and discuss your plans for the course, please do so soon. We have our first graduate activity that's going to be due very soon. So wish you all a good day. Reach out if you have any questions.